Has Nigerian begun to enjoy this democracy dividend we have been, talking about? Have we started enjoying it? I mean, what have we started to get our share of this dividend, of this democracy as Nigerians? So that's what we're going to be talking about this morning. And this morning also, we are not going to be talking talking about it alone. We're going to be taking the discussion further, and by examining the power sector for the last 27 years of unbroken, will I say it's of unbroken democracy? what has
I like that laugh.
what has changed, or what are we seeing as Nigerians? We want to go beyond, we want to look beyond politics now. We want to look beyond the promises. We want to examine the journey so far, the progress and the road ahead for the energy of democracy. So doing that this morning, we are going to be discussing this topic alongside with we have a guest with us. Yeah, he's an industrial sociologist, a public affairs analyst, and a member of CIPM, in the person of Mr. Isaac B. Twaki, who is also a bulk product marketer with Shafa Energy Depot Operation. You're welcome to the show, sir. Good morning.
Thank you very much.
Welcome, sir.
I'm
Good
glad
morning,
to
sir.
be in your studio.
You're welcome,
And
sir.
good morning, Nigerians, and happy Democracy Day.
Wish you the same, sir.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Okay, so let's just dive straight. Let's go down memory lane, because for the benefit of those who were not born in last 27, we have Gen Zs now. We have Gen Z, people like me that are Gen Zs, okay, that didn't know actually what fully happened then, okay. So for the benefit of those people, let's start. What has been the power situation from then compared to what it is today?
All right, once again, good morning, Nigerians.
Sir.
In the last 27 years, that is since the advent of the Fourth Republic, power has been a very serious challenge, in Nigeria, because virtually every of our daily activities, from home, businesses, and even government is connected to electricity, power supply. And before the advent of democracy, we have been having, a challenge in the power sector until the democratic experience started in the Fourth Republic precisely in 1999. And so far, some reforms came on board that helped to bring about some of the little improvement that we are seeing. Even though I will say that the dividends, which most of us, envisage, is still a work in progress. We have not yet arrived there yet, but I can assure you that what we have now compared to what we had before 1999 is more improvement. It's far better than what we had. And to be very specific, Nigeria population has increased right from 1999.
Yes.
It has increased significantly. Nigeria population is around 230 million. It's not a precise estimate, just a rough estimate, over 230 million. And you can imagine that our installed capacity for generating power is around 15,000 megawatts. And until recently, what we have been able to generate so far between 2024 and 2025 is on record that at February, we could generate up to about 5,500 megawatts for a population of 230 million. Yeah. And if you compare that to other nations, because you understand the implication of this until when you make a comparative analysis with other countries in Africa. For example, South Africa, the population is around 65 million, and they have an installed capacity of about 44,000 installed capacity. Compare that to Nigeria. We have 15,000 megawatts, but what we're able to generate is around 5,000. When you compare that to Egypt, Egypt has a population of around 115 million, and their generating capacity is around 59,000 megawatts. So if you compare that to that of Nigeria, you discover that Nigeria is still a far cry to what is expected by the citizens who are the major stakeholders in the democracy. The citizens are the major stakeholders in democracy, so they deserve more.
Yeah. So we often hear about this dividend of democracy. I know you talked about it just now. And from what you said, from all you have just explained to us, would you say that Nigerians, excuse me, are currently enjoying that dividend, or we are just at the, when it comes to electricity now, would you say we are fully enjoying it, or we are just at the tip?
Okay.
Yes.
Well, if I have to classify it, I will classify in this way. Precondition to take off, just like if you board the airplane, you're about to fly. You know, there's a precondition to take off. That is when you're about to board. You know, they do some security protocol checks and what have you. And then we have when you are on board, you are taking off, and then when you are already airborne. Now, if you look at it critically so far, we are still at precondition to take off. We have not really take off. Because we are still at the level of, you know, trying to implement the policies that have been put in place. I want to cast our mind back that what the goodies we are beginning to see a little bit now started with the electricity reform. You know, the Electricity Act of 2005. You know, which led to the establishment of NERC, that is Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission. And after its creation, the body which is a regulator of the power sector was mandated to unbundle what we have as Nepa. You know, before now, Nepa was the one doing the generation, it was the one doing the distribution, it was the one also doing the transmission and also doing the billing. So the responsibility was cumbersome, so Nepa was not effective as it should be. So not until when these policies and reform came into being, Nepa was unbundled, and that led to splinters of about 18 companies. That is 6 generating companies and 11 distribution company. And then we also have TCN, which is a government company. So and so far, we're beginning to see a little improvement in power supply. We now have a value change. The whole responsibility is not concentrated in one body, you know, well, which make it slow, cumbersome. There was no accountability, you know. But now we can see that there has been some improvement, like I mentioned, that so far the power generation has advanced to about 5,900 megawatts. And not only that, we got to the level that our consumption, the customers were also classified, like the band A, band B, band C. So government is even in a position now saying that if you pay more, you will enjoy light more. You have access to light. So that also is an improvement on his part, because honestly speaking, like we say in Nigeria, that better soup, na money killer. If you want to enjoy electricity, definitely you have to pay for it. You have to pay for it. And that has been the challenge so far in the power sector. You know, the inability to maintain the facility, to overhaul the facility, to generate money, to maintain, you know, the facility has been the reason why you see we have not been enjoying electricity as it should be, even though it's one of the key elements for economic growth and development in Nigeria. So far, back to your question, I will say that the dividends that we are expecting is still at a very low ebb. Though relatively we're beginning to see improvement in access to light. Let's say about sometimes we have like 4 to 6 hours. And for those in band A, recently I have some of them complaining that the 20 to 24 hours supply as they were promised in band A, that they are not enjoying it. They are not enjoying it as you should. That sometimes it's 10 hours max they get, and these people pay around 209 to 225 naira
Per unit.
Yes, per unit. That is what they pay. So you should expect that those who are in band A should be talking about constant power supply, even though the plan of the federal government is that in the nearest future, everybody should be on band A. Everybody should have access to power supply. Unfortunately, it's on record that 90% of Nigeria, so 90 million Nigeria, not 90%, 90 million Nigeria, are still in the dark. So you know what that is when you compare that to a population of 230 million Nigerians.
Okay, so sorry, still from what you just said, if the federal government is looking at the situation where in the nearest future, most Nigerians would be on band A, or rather, let me put it this way, the federal government is looking at the situation where, how possible is that? That the majority of Nigerians, looking at our minimum wage, looking at people who even pay less than, there was a time we did a mathematics here, looking at how much a family or an individual would have to pay in a month for electricity. So looking at our situation as Nigerian from the time of democracy, the increase, the up and down of the minimum wage and all of that, how possible is it that an average Nigerian would be able to afford electricity coming from the band A line?
Well, at the moment, it's very important for us to also understand that even those who are in the lesser band, government is still paying subsidy over electricity. Okay. I don't know whether government is going to continue with that. That I wouldn't say, because I'm not in the power sector. I'm just a Nigerian like you, who take interest in what happens in the country. But our dream and aspiration is to see that every Nigerian have access to electricity. Is very important, regardless of what the cost implication is going to be. We only hope that government will come up with modalities that will consider those earning or the low income earners, even though they don't get up to the 24-hour supply. At least let them be able to get, let's say, 15 hours. 15 hours is relatively, fair enough. Somebody can make something out of it for particularly those who are into small-scale businesses. If you have access to 15 hours power supply, at least it's reasonable.
Yes, I think it's reasonable.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for that. Okay, let me bring it down at many Nigerians, would expect. I remember when I was in school, they taught me that democracy is for the people.
By the people, and
for the people.
Yes, and a lot of Nigerians believe that, of course, democracy is for we the people. But looking at let's say from 1999 to date now, what's the three most important improvements has this democracy brought to our electricity sector? What is the three major important that this democracy has brought, looking from then till now to being, what can you say about that?
Okay, one of the three most important things that democracy has really brought, I mentioned one earlier, which is the decentralization of Nepa. Nepa was too cumbersome. Everything, from the generation to the distribution, to the transmission, to the billing, Nepa alone handles it. So the monotony was just too much. So breaking it into splinters is also democratic, if we have to look at it, so that one single person does not monopolize all the processes, even though it is burdensome and also ineffective. That is one. Secondly, TCN, which is the transmission company of Nigeria, for security and strategic reasons, is saddled with the responsibility of handling or managing the grid. It's a record that grids has collapsed between 2024 and 2025 about 16 times or so.
Yes.
Power grid always collapsing and collapsing and collapsing. But in recent time, with the electricity reform of 2023, we now begin to see that the states now have the power to generate, to transmit, which is also decentralizing the process, the power, the monopoly which TCN also hold, it has decentralized in such a way that, states now have the power to be able to generate, distribute, and bill. You understand? Thereby bringing the organization closer to the people, And thirdly, again, it's so close that people have access. People have access to lay complaint. Before now, if there are issues with supply, you have one complaint or the other, you don't even know who to meet. You have to struggle and so thank God for a program like this. This is a phone-in program. Yeah. People can call, people can air their view. We also have media departments with this organization that you can lay your complaint in. You just mentioned that last week the MD of Niger State Electricity Distribution Company was here. So it's also part of the democratic process. Anything that people do not have access into, is not democratic. But that this cumbersome organization has been broken into splinters so that people can be able to, channel their complaint or channel their opinion to who is doing a particular thing at a time, also make it democratic.
All right, thank you very much. So this is we are still here, and we are looking at electricity and democracy. Has Nigerians begun to as Nigerians finally started seeing the dividend of this democracy? That is what we are talking about here, and we are here in the studio with a sociologist who is giving us, from his own expertise, who is giving us what we should hear. You can join us here in the studio by reaching us out on the number 0903-8808-8883, 0903-8808-8883. That's the number to call. Let's hear from you. Has democracy delivered meaningful progress in the power sector? Are you enjoying more electricity today than the way it was 10 years ago? Let's hear from you. The phone lines are open, so you're going to call in and let's hear your thought on that. Or do you still believe that Nigerians are still waiting for the real dividend? Let's hear from you. Like I said, the number to call is 0903-8808-8883, 0903-8808-8883. All right, we have our first caller for the day. Let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
You're welcome, Mr. Abdullahi.
What is still expected in Nepa? Like me, who reside in Boso town.
Oh, so sorry, we lost that. Okay, Mr. Abdullahi, you can call back. The number to call is 0903-8808-8883. Let's hear from you. Has democracy delivered meaningful progress in the power sector? Or are you enjoying electricity more the way it is than before? All right, let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning to you at the studio. Good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Morning, sir.
This is some video on the line.
Good morning,
sir.
Good morning, sir.
I greet your guest. He spoke a lot, and we don't have anything to say with Nepa at this democracy that we are. Because one, I'm enjoying life now. I sleep well. I don't even know that they don't call prayer myself today because of the power. I sleep. I even forgot myself. And my question goes to this. You cannot pay Nepa at least. But I want to urge people, let people try. I don't want to call the amount, but who try. Even though the way they write, get half I don't want to call. The governor, even though they write 1,000, try to get 400 naira or 5 is going to accept it. And going to the topic, my first question is there any situation that
just when he was about to ask his question.
Yeah, you can call back to finish or ask your question again. Don't forget, you can also drop your comments on our Facebook at Upnepa platform and on YouTube at Upnepa_platform. You can drop your comments there. We are here, and of course we'll read it out, and let's hear your questions or let's hear your contribution. Are you enjoying electricity now than you were enjoying it 10 years ago? Has this democracy delivered something meaningful in the power sector? That's what we're talking about, and let's hear your contribution and let's hear what you have to say.
All right, before the next call comes in, I'm so happy about what the last caller said, talking about how he has had, in fact, he forgot himself. A lot of Nigerians, I wanted to say Nigerians, but I can only talk about Niger states now. A lot of Nigerians are excited about the new improvements with electricity. But then a lot of us are still a bit skeptical because I would say the trust of many Nigerians when it comes to electricity sector has been broken.
Yeah.
So what do you have to say about that? What do you think? Okay.
Well, I want to promise Nigerians or Nigerians to be specific that you keep your hope alive.
Okay.
Don't have any doubt. The reforms that the current administration have put in place are very, very effective, and we have seen the outcome of some of this reform. For example, the power supply has improved. Thank God for the gentleman I just called in now, telling us how we enjoy. Even in my area, we have I have access at least relatively in a day. So they bring light for about 6 hours. When they take it, after a few more hours, another 6 hours, just by coal here. Okay. So power is relatively stable. So let us keep hope alive. And then secondly, he mentioned something, encouraging Nigerians that we should try and pay. Or Nigeria like that we should try and pay. Honestly speaking, it's very important. Power generation costs a lot. Power generation costs a lot. And that has been the major problem affecting the power sector. Now we have equipment that are obsolete. These equipment need replacement. Without funding, you cannot replace them. For example, we have the distribution company. The distribution companies are the one distributing electricity. One of their challenges is that so many people are owing from the government. The government itself, according to statistics, is owing them about 100 billion. Government and the military setup. So now we talk of Nigerians. And then there is power theft. People are stealing. You see somebody will bypass his meter.
A lot of people.
It will affect you. Don't think that in the interim you are enjoying light. It's going to affect you. Because if you are not paying for it, these people cannot give you the kind of service that you want. So what I'm trying to say in essence is that if distribution companies generate more revenue, they will be able to pay the gencos, that those who generate electricity. And those who generate electricity, they can be able to do a routine maintenance. They can be able to replace any equipment that is old. And then they can also be able to buy gas, because some of these plants run on gas. Like, for example, when we're having incidents of collapse of the grid, that has been one of the challenge, lack of gas supply. So if everybody will do is take it up as a civic responsibility to ensure that they pay for what they consume, I think power supply will improve considerably. So I would say kudos to Niger State Electricity Distribution Company. They made promises and we are seeing improvement. Even the minister mentioned last time that Minister of Power, he said that we are going to see improvements in the power sector, and we're already, power supply, and already we are seeing it. I also said that there is going to be a massive investment of billions of naira into mini grids. We're going to have mini grids. For example, now there are some organizations that on their own, they can set up mini power grids and then distribute to neighbors around. I think, for example, Dangote was was saying that he's going to do his own installation. So you see, he was talking around 20,000 megawatt. You can imagine if we have individuals like that who are wealthy enough, to put up such plant, power will not be a challenge.
Okay. All right. Before you continue, we have a comment on our Facebook. Okay. This is coming from Mr. Mohammed Buka, of course, our regular commenter. He said, "Good morning, Upnepa platform crew. Good morning to you too. Happy Democracy Day. May the great beyond overcome all of our challenges in this country of our motherland. I will focus my talk on loyalty. Each employee of the power sector and we, the consumers, is required to maintain and demonstrate a high sense of loyalty to the electricity companies at all times. Any action against this is an act of disloyalty. So democracy with the electricity sector has given we customers an opportunity to have freedom to discuss about the success or failures within the electricity sector. It has also given room for deregulations and also government procurement of electricity equipment for its citizens in all its avenue for democracy. But we, the citizens, still deserves better from the players of democracy. Again, getting our PVC, is also a mandatory service to get improved electricity in our various homes and communities. Steve for thanks and Jumat Mubarak. All right. We also have another comment from this is coming from Mr. Habat Ghana. He said, "Happy Democracy Day, up Nepa. I sincerely think that the improvements in the power sector are not happening at the rate of demand, from generation, transmission, and distribution to even regulation." Okay, yep, I think that's all for our comment. Okay, so we have another call. Let's take this call before we go in. Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. Okay, I think we lost that. The number to call is 0903-8808-883. Okay, let's take this call before we move on. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
I'm Mr. Obani from Ketanigwari.
You're welcome, Mr. Fali. Let's hear from you.
Yes, we thank God for the improvement
of
the Nepa in Niger State. But before we should give them kudos, they should try more. Because if you travel outside Mina, you begin to see that there's a lot of improvement over there than the power state where we are. Power state to be called. So we are expecting more than others. And not only that, please, at times NEPA should considering us, we customers.
Okay.
At times in a month, like that previous month, February, March, that NEPA had some issues. And there was no light coming. Maybe at times they would just flash. At the end of the month, you see maybe you enjoy light, maybe 6 hours, all the throughout the month. And they will still bill us higher within that month. And customer will are struggling to pay. Still, we are not having that up to what we have paid for. And I want to ask your visitor there, please, why is it that at times, or most of the time, in the whole federation, in a place where you have a transformer and it got spoiled, it will be the customers that will be contributing money to replace their transformer, or be calling the government or maybe a politician to replace. After replacement from the customer's transformer, NEPA then will take it up and say it's their own. And when the transformer spoiled, because it's the business they are doing, their own is to sell, but they don't buy. Customers buy, and they only sell and make money out of it. Is that how it's supposed to be? At times they will be compelling us that if you go abroad people pay most of the amount in dollars, this and that. But in abroad, you don't ask customers to replace a transformer. But in Nigeria here, you replace a transformer by customers. I was opportune to travel to Anambra State. And I when I was there, their transformer got spoiled. And each compound is paying up to 80,000 to replace a transformer. And they're going to house to house. And what happens? Nepa said they cannot replace it. It is the customers. Is that how it's supposed to be? Let us look at it, because we are Nigerians. This is our right. And your right is you're doing your business. Your right is to give us rights. And our right, our responsibility is to pay you. But after payment, and something got spoiled, even if it's a wire, it is the customers will replace it.
All right.
At the responsibility of the Nepa to the customers. Is it only to collect our money? Thank you. Let me stop it.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, before we go further, so about this, he said, customers contributing money to replace the transformer. I think Dr. Sam said something about it last week when he addressed that issue of said no such thing like that in Niger State. So if you want to hear more of his response, you can go to our Facebook page, last Friday's episode, it's there, or you can go to our YouTube at Upnepa platform and hear what he has to say, or what he said about the replacement of transformers by the consumers. Okay, sir, do you have anything to say, add to what he...
Yes, I think in his observation, he raised two crucial points. Number one is the issue of not getting value for the money they paid. And then the second one is, which you just talked about now. As a matter of fact, as a citizen or as a consumer, so to say, you have no business buying any item, equipment, or material, be a transformer or cable.
So I think you need to say that again for our listeners
to
hear.
You have no business doing that. You have no business doing that. Nigerians are always in a hurry to make to take easy way out.
Yeah.
If as a community in that particular area, your transformer is down and you all teamed up, you walk up to the distribution company and lay your complaint and mount pressure on them, I believe that they will take up that responsibility and act accordingly. But it's because we are so used to it. They are so used to it's normal, It has become normal that people have to contribute money. And then the unfortunate thing is that when people dole out such money and buy those items, like you mentioned, the electricity company will take over and then still bill you without considering deducting what you have paid, to put that facility in place. So Nigeria have no business doing that. I remember when I was in Tunga, such discussion came. Thief came and stole our armor cable, and they wanted to make a contribution. I told them that I'm not going to contribute anything. Everybody was shocked and surprised. They thought that I'm being unreasonable. I told them, I said, we enjoy telecom services, which they did. The end of the telecom company asked you to come and pay for diesel or for their cable. Booster station or cable. So we should be reasonable enough as Nigeria, be intelligent. We're an intelligent community. We shouldn't expose ourselves to unnecessary exploitation.
It's true, we are intelligent, but it's just back, sorry I interrupted you, it's back to what I said, the trust of an average Nigerian when it comes to electricity sector has been damaged.
Yes.
And over time, Nigerians have been pushed into the situation where I choose not to contribute, and then we stay there for weeks, and if care is not taken, months without light. So I think many Nigerians, we are very intelligent, but at the same time, we have adapted to this service. So how can we educate Nigerians? How can we help them understand that this is what is right, and you can stick to it. As you know, I feel if we do it together as a body, it would hold. But then you find one person saying, I would not contribute, and then 50 others are willing to. So how do we help Nigerians understand that we can band together? And
I think what we need is the sensitization, more sensitization, more public awareness, more value reorientation. Our orientation is very wrong. We have to really address some things. Some things that we think are normal are misnomer. Some things we think that are right, they are not right. For goodness sake, you know, the company that you are trying, you know, this whole thing started way back when Nepa, you know, was a government company. So people, you know, thought that by doing that, you are, you know, since you're also government, as a government company, it is your civic responsibility. You are helping the government. It is a community service. Just like you see today, people buy a transformer, individual can buy a transformer and donate transformer to a community. There is nothing wrong about that. But as average consumer, when you have problem with your transformer or any installation around that facility, you shouldn't be in a haste to start taxing yourself. Like I said, Nigeria have this mentality of finding easy way out of any solution, and then it continues to linger on. To provide lasting solution, you have to pay the price. You have to be patient. We have to make sure that the owners of this company understand that we cannot be exploited.
Yes.
It is their responsibility. We have paid. Let us get value for what we paid for. I think if the more Nigerians have this orientation, the better they will rise up to responsibility of doing what is right. And then that aside, he also made mention of, lest I forget, he made mention of people not getting electricity, even having paid so much. You know, they give you pay so much, and they give you 6-hour light, maybe once in a week or twice in a month, and then by the end of the month they start billing you. What I want to say is that the estimated billing is exploitative. It's just too exploitative. It is exploiting the average consumer, because whatever estimate they are doing is a guesswork. It's a guesswork.
Yes.
You are taking advantage of people. You know, it is absolutely wrong. I want to appeal to distribution company that, in my own thinking, that we can find, you know, a lasting solution to issue like this, especially when you go around, because I've seen often Nepa, sorry, I call them Nepa, power distribution company, you know, fighting with consumer, you know, trying to cut off their power supply. They will fight you. But what if the distribution company make these meters available at a subsidized rate, because the meter itself is very expensive, or make it even make an arrangement whereby you can install it in your house, and then thereafter the deduction can be made as you pay. Yes, as you are buying from the unit, a certain percentage will be deducted. When you do that, everybody will have bill meters in their house.
Yes.
And then it will be easy for you to generate your money. It will be easy for you to also bill. It will not be this fighting that we see between consumers and Nepa, trying to pull somebody's husband down from from pole, will not be happening. So I want to appeal to the state distribution company to look inward and see how they can make meters available to consumer, and make a kind of arrangement that will be flexible, so that as they are buying units, the deductions can be made from the unit they pay. That is, the payment for the meter can be made. So when we have something like that, I think the issue of somebody being exploited, you are not having the light, and then you are paying more than, you know, it will not be happening.
And it will be pay as you use.
Pay as you use. Thank
pay
you.
as you go. Yes.
So when you exhaust your unit, you will know that you exhausted it.
Exactly.
You go back. Like the one in my house. Sometimes when you finish around 2 o'clock, I will still recharge. I will charge, go back there and put it back.
Yeah,
and then I continue to consume.
All right, thank you very much, sir. Let's make our last comment on social media. It's still from Mohammed because I said the Dan Power Holding Company of Nigeria PLC recognized the need to achieve and maintain a high level of productivity and industrial harmony. In 2024, when the power sector was privatized, this has been lacking. I still have this perception that PHCN should have not been sold out to the capitalist class. The guests should shed more light on this, please, and thank you very much. But sir, before you shed more light on that, our time is already up. We just have 5 more minutes. So if there's anything you have to say to that, you can just make it rapid.
The truth of the matter is that government has no business doing business. Government has no business doing business. The only the government can do is to regulate and create a level playing field for all the players in the industry, to run. It's the private sector that will say run it. That is what we see around in advanced society. That is the best practice. And the capitalists we are talking about, you need the capitalists. You need their money. They are the one that have money. So if you don't have the capitalists, who is going to invest? The public servant who is on salary cannot make an investment into power sector. So you still need the capitalists.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
The only thing to check the capitalists is regulation by government. Just regulation.
Okay. So before we just wrap up, I think this should be our last question. So, what should Nigeria expect? What would you say Nigeria should expect in coming years on the electricity, sector?
Well, first and foremost, what Nigeria should expect is that light is going to improve, but it will take Nigerians. Let us see ourselves as stakeholders. We're talking about democracy. It's a democracy. We are stakeholders in the democracy. When you say government of the people, who are the government? We are the government. If you are living in a house, will you allow your room to get dirty? Would you allow the installation to break down? So you are also a stakeholder. And anything that you have a stake in, you must do everything possible to make sure that you keep it optimally operating. You won't allow it to break down. You contribute your own quota. Pay your bills as and when due. No matter what, pay your bills. Once you pay your bills, the revenue will be there for the for the industry players to play their role. If you don't play their role, thank God, we have state distribution company now, very close to us. You can lay your complaint.
All right, thank you very much, sir, for your wonderful insights on this show. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
And
very
of
much.
course, we believe that we'll be seeing you more often.
So
Okay, and to those that called in and those that contributed on our social media handles, thank you very much for sticking with us and staying tuned. You make this show effortless. You guys are the backbone of the show, and thank you for always staying with us every Friday. From 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Okay, but before we go, I'll have to leave you with this. Democracy is often measured not just by election, but by the quality of the citizens' experience. And electricity remains one of the clearest way Nigerians judge whether governance is working. So the journey from Nepa to today's electricity market, for the journey from Nepa to today's electricity market shows that reforms has happened. So whether you believe the dividends of democracy are already visible or still a work in progress, one thing is certain. Nigerians' electricity story is still being written, and every citizen has a stake in how that story ends. So let's all hope and be hopeful for a better electricity sector. My name is Victoria Festus, and it's been an amazing time. This is Upnepa. Join us same time next week, Friday, from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. And just know that we love you from here, and we're wishing you Happy Democracy Day. KK, wish our audience Happy Democracy Day.
All right, Happy Democracy Day to all our listeners, to our audience across all platforms. It's been a pleasure being with you this morning.